I cheated on my husband and don't know where to go from here. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I cheated on my husband and don't know where to go from here. I have been married for 6 years. My husband and I are both 28 years old when you reach other in high school, but did not date until after. My husband is an incredible man, kind, selfless, caring, hilarious, and the life of the party. Something I noticed about him right away is that he had a much lower sex drive than me, because he was also my best friend. That seemed the small price to pay for the love and companionship we shared. It definitely hurt me feelings when it initiates sex and get turned down. But we talked about this a lot and he said it was due to being tired from work. I understood because I'm tired from work too. About 3 years into our marriage, during particular dry spell, I accidentally walked in on him jacking off in the bathroom, scrolling through Reddit's Gun Wild sub. I was really upset because I just been trained down for sex moments earlier. It brought back a memory from when we started dating, when I was using his computer and a bunch of a porn came up. We were 17. I wasn't a porn user, and when I asked him about it, he swore up and down it was because his roommate borrowed his computer. To be clear, at this point in time, he knew that I was not a fan of porn. My views have shifted since then, and he knows that. As we've watched together occasionally, but he even had his roommate come to me and apologize, so I figured he was being truthful. Fast forward 6 years to depart from incident. I'm upset because after remembering the first incident, it becomes obvious that he was lying, and has been lying about the severity of his poor news of years. I bring this up, and he admits that he lied about that. And this continued to lie about using porn. I know it seems a small thing, but it felt like an enormous betrayal. I felt like I knew him inside and out. We grew up together, and knowing he felt he needed to lie to me and also that he prefers to get off without me broke my heart. I think that began a shift in our relationship. I eventually forgave him, but I stopped seeing him as my soulmate whom I could fully trust and knew everything about. I know that was a naive point from the start, but it felt like a huge change. I started feeling less desired by him. And even though he made somewhat of an effort to be more sexual with me, the whole situation just changed how it felt about our relationship, and I've been struggling ever since to figure it out. Last year, I got a new job in Georgia. We had been wanting to move somewhere warmer anyway, so we decided to give it a go. While here, I made a new friend. Most of my friends are men, and my husband is equally close with all of my friends, so it never felt out of the ordinary. However, I found myself becoming attracted to this friend, and I started to keep how close we were becoming a secret from my husband. I knew that it felt like I was being sneaky and a cheater even then, but it made me feel so good to be understood and confronted by someone who hadn't hurt me. Meanwhile, my husband is being loving and basically trying his best to make me happy. I grew more distant. I felt so guilty about this and mentioned to my husband that I wasn't sure we should stay together anymore. I knew I wasn't treating him as well as he deserved. I was feeling a bit trapped and wishing I hadn't settled down so soon after high school. I'd never been with any other man before, although he had been with about 7 girls before me. I never held this against him, and it truly didn't bother me. It's just made it so he didn't fully understand how it was feeling about having those experiences. I wish he hadn't gotten married so young. I told him these things. I know it hurt him. He said he wanted to be with me no matter what. He said he'd be willing to let me sleep with someone else if it wasn't that or me living him. I said I didn't want to do that. I have no interest in letting him do the same. And I don't feel it'd be fair otherwise. I also don't want my marriage to be like that. Although I know the arrangement works for others, I end up flirting more and more with a new friend. We have sex once. The sex suck, we are still friends, and I'm worried he's falling for me a little. I'm worried I'm attached because of the sex or because of the closeness of our relationship. I value the friendship even though I know it's not healthy. I've been able to be so open with him in a way I no longer feel I can with my husband. The worst part is I know I could just leave my husband. I love him so fucking much, though. He is my best friend, other half, and a huge sense of security for me. I know I'm so selfish. I know that the way you love him isn't a good type of love. He deserves somebody so much better than me. I haven't told him that I cheated. I was cheated in multiple times in my first relationship, and it fucked me up in so many ways. I'd rather believe and not tell him if it comes to that. I really don't know what to deal. I want to salvage my marriage, and I know that if I told him he wouldn't leave, but that just makes me feel even worse. Do I have to be honest to make this right? Where do I go from here?